was shook, came out of nowhere.
This is Sportscentre.
Hey, I'm Marissa Roberto. After what feels like, I don't know, a million years, the Stanley Cup Final finally starts tomorrow night. And we could not be more excited, because this particular final could be looked at as a product of league growth. Seeing as how neither team existed before the Panthers came into the league, this marks just the second time in NHL history that two teams from a 90s expansion or later have met in the Stanley Cup Final. What was the other one, you ask? Well, who can forget 2007's Ducks-Senators final? To put this into further perspective, these two teams hardly know each other at all, with just 10 total meetings between these two squads. Over that time, Vegas has won 6 to Florida's 4. While neither franchise has had the honor of hoisting the Stanley Cup up to this point, there's certainly more than enough Stanley Cup experience set to square off when the puck hits the ice in Vegas tomorrow night. On Florida's end, 3 players have participated in at least one final, with Eric Stahl winning as a Hurricane and Carter Verhaeghe raising the cup as a Bolt. Meanwhile, Vegas has amassed a ton of Stanley Cup experience. There are 6 players returning from the Knights' only Stanley Cup appearance in 2018, none of whom have won a cup. But the Knights have 6 additional players with Cup Final experience. Incredibly, all 6 of these guys have 100% success rate. But can they do it again this year? I am excited for hockey. I feel like these two teams should have met all along. Listen, it was written in the stars. We got something new, and it's going to be exciting. Pun not intended. Now joined by Tim Harady to talk this weekend's F1 action. Great to see you, Tim.
Great to see you too, Marissa. Thanks very much for having me.
Okay, last week you and several others thought we might finally see an end to Red Bull's dominant season and see someone other than Verstappen and Checo win a race. And once again, they proved everyone wrong. As Max won his 4th race of the year, what exactly makes Red Bull so dominant?
Yeah, the thing is, last week, everybody had mentioned, with Monaco, it's a driver's track. So the driver really does make the difference. Now, that's not saying that the racing driver doesn't make the difference at other tracks. It's just that with Monaco, it's so magnified. And Max Verstappen on Saturday in qualifying was absolutely brilliant. One of the great things about it is his third sector, which could probably go down as one of the greatest third sectors at that track we've ever seen in qualifying. I mean, just skimming the barriers and wrestling pole position away from Fernando Alonso. And that's the thing right there, where Max Verstappen's at his peak. Adrian Newey and Red Bull and his staff have made an incredible piece of machinery. And the thing with Formula One is timing. Your timing has to be perfect, where your driver's peaking, and then also you've built an amazing car, and you're marrying those two things together. Now, will this dominance last? I mean, it could, for sure, but this weekend, Ferrari's bringing their big upgrade. Mercedes brought their big upgrade last weekend. So the teams will eventually start to claw back this performance. The only thing is it's just going to take time, Marissa.
Dang, Tim, you just answered all my questions in one go. Appreciate when you're on the show. Have a great weekend.
Thanks very much, Marissa. Really appreciate it.
And you can watch the Spanish Grand Prix this Sunday on TSN. Coverage begins bright and early at 7:30 a.m. Eastern, 4:30 a.m. Pacific. To soccer, and with the Champions League final just over a week away, the season across the pond is about to come to a close, meaning we are already in silly season when it comes to transfer rumors. Let's start with last year's Ballon d'Or winner, Karim Benzema. Earlier this week, it looked like it was a done deal that he would be heading to Saudi Arabia. But things started to change last night. And according to this interview, he's not going anywhere yet.
¿Sí me voy a quedar en Madrid? Sí. Sí, por momento estoy aquí. Disfruto cada... ¿Por qué voy a hablar de un futuro si estoy en Madrid?
Porque hay mucha gente hablando por ti.
Sí, pero lo que habla es Internet. Y la realidad no es Internet.
So let's bring up our digital Sportscentre transfer radar here. And while this thing looked locked originally, these new quotes make us toss Benz in the not sure category. All this Benzema news is clouding a massive signing for Real, as according to Fabrizio Romano, they're in the advanced stages of finalizing a deal for Borussia Dortmund midfielder Jude Bellingham, with the price tag expected to be around 100 million euros. This one has been rumored for a while now, so we think Jude to Real is just a matter of time before it's official. And let's stick with the Real theme here and get to one of the greatest players of all time. Cristiano Ronaldo said he will not be leaving Saudi Arabia, despite links to Newcastle, who will be playing Champions League football next year. Now, we cannot mention Ronaldo without mentioning Messi, and it was confirmed yesterday by PSG. What we all knew would happen, Messi is leaving the club at the end of the season. So, is a return to Barca looming? Well, according to manager Xavi, Barca wants him and Messi will make his decision next week. But does Barca have the money for such a deal? Their finances always seem to be a mess, but this report is interesting, suggesting that Inter Miami of the MLS will sign Messi and then immediately loan him to Barca. And there's also reportedly a massive offer from Saudi Arabia. So with all these options, what is Messi going to do? So sorry Barca fans, but at the present time, we just don't think a return to Barcelona is realistic for Messi. And we'll finish with a pair of Prem players, as it seems Arsenal has beaten Bayern Munich in the race to sign Declan Rice, with the Gunners expected to submit a formal bid after West Ham plays their Europa Conference League final. As Rice is reportedly keen on staying in London, I like how we said keen there, that's what they say over there, you know, and not moving abroad. But what about Mason Mount to United? Well, it seems to be at an advanced stage, but that €80 million price tag will be a major hurdle to getting a deal done. Now joined by Wes Chang for the second day in a row. Great to see you, Wes.
Great to see you, Marissa.
All right, we're talking WNBA today. The Aces are 4-0, covering all but one game so far, and are winning by an average of almost 25 a game. Their spreads have typically been around that 13 to 16 range. Do we just keep hammering the Aces until they stop covering?
Look, I get it. They're number one in O rating, D rating, effective field goal percentage, breaking records, first team in WNBA to score 90 plus points in the first 4 games. All of that, I get it. That being said, maybe the offense runs a little hot for now. It might cool off a little bit, but it's the defensive end where I think they've really been holding it together a little bit under the radar right now. The first 3 teams that they played against, they were on the bottom in terms of WNBA futures to win it all. The next 3 teams are a little bit more competitive. Look at their pace. That's an opportunity to potentially stack on the defense that they've had, the successful defense they've had up to this point. If they don't necessarily hit the spread or they keep the hot scoring going, their defense might last. Take the team total under on the next few games coming up.
Wes, a pleasure as always. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Marissa.
That's all for today. We'll see you right back here Monday. Have an amazing weekend.